Hi, my name is Mario. Today I'm here with Miss Maggie Hall, and we're going to be discussing an event that she has going on this Friday night at the PAL Center. Hi, Miss Maggie. It's nice to meet you today.
Glad to meet you, Mario.
Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is what exactly is going on this Friday night.
This Friday night, we're having our family math night. This is an annual event that we have, and I kind of hesitate to call it math night because we don't sit there and do math problems or anything. It's a game and puzzles and riddles and math history and things like that. It's geared for students that are in elementary school and their families. Students must be accompanied by a parent when they come. It will be starting at 6:30 in the evening and go to 8 o'clock. And we would love to have all the families come out and help us and enjoy the evening.
So, do you need any assistance or volunteers or anything?
Good question. We could really use some volunteers. As you can imagine, since we're going through a span of kindergarten through fourth grade, basically, we have to have a lot of different activities. We have almost 40 different activities. And it's best if I can have a person involved with each separate activity to answer questions and to encourage the students to participate. So if there are high school students in particular who would like to come and volunteer for a couple hours on Friday night, that would be wonderful. And an additional benefit is that once you have enough volunteer hours at the Greater Norristown PAL, you'd be eligible to receive one of our $1,500 scholarships that we give out every year. We have 3 scholarships that are available. Unfortunately, we haven't had enough applicants to give them out for the past couple of years. So, this would be a great way for you to help out. And, the applications aren't due until May, and we would just love to have you. But I would really like to know ahead of time if you plan to come.
Okay, so by what time should they let you know?
Well, if they can let me know by Thursday night, that would be the best, because that way I could plan out the evening and decide how to use everybody. I'll be happy to give my email address and people can contact me. They just should put in the subject line that what they're contacting me about, so I know it's not a spam. But that would be perfect if I could do that. But we have a lot of events going on at PAL that they would be more than welcome to come and help out. We have future events also.
Now, I want to ask why your involvement with a math night. Is there any reason behind you wanting to run a math night?
Yeah, math night is a favorite of mine because I'm a former math teacher. I taught secondary math both here in Norristown for a semester and then in different Easttown for 16 years. And, the math activities are, of course, a favorite of mine. I get all excited every year when I start preparing for this. We do a variety of things for math night, and as I said, we do things like games, the set game, rush hour, mastermind are some of the games that we use. We do chess and dominoes, but we also do some other activities that maybe you wouldn't think would be involved with math. One of my favorite activities is something I call Dodson's Doublets. This is named after Lewis Carroll, who is the pen name for Charles Dodson, who was a mathematician. I don't know if you knew that or not.
I did not know that.
Yes, and he used to play all sorts of games with kids that he knew from friends. And one of his was to take words like east and change it into west by only altering one letter at a time, but making sure that when you altered that letter, it gave you an actual word. So you would see how many steps it would take you to change, one 4-letter word into another one, or, even a bigger word into another, bigger word of the same number of letters. So we have a lot of different activities that you normally wouldn't think were math, but these are a lot of fun things that get people thinking and using their minds.
Now, what's the reason behind all of this?
Well, obviously there's been, I think, some emphasis in the country with encouraging students in science and math and technology and all these areas. And with our family nights in PAL, we hope to draw families into the center so that they can see the building but also do something fun as a family. I think so much of students' time is involved with games on their little iPads or their phones anymore, that sometimes the families don't get together and do things as a family. So this is an events that we hold to try to encourage that, and we hold several during the year for that. And you don't have to be a member of PAL to come to our family nights.
So I could just show up out of the blue with my mom and my
Sure.
sister.
Sure.
Just
Yeah.
have a nice night.
Have a nice evening. That would be perfect, and we encourage that. I understand we're predicting some rain for Friday, so it would give everyone a nice evening out and
Get
not
a
get
chance
wet.
to get out. So, I want to ask you a bit more about your past. You said you were a math teacher.
Yes, I was.
Did you teach at Norristown?
Yes, I taught at Stewart. The last year it was a junior high before this building opened, and all the junior highs went to Eisenhower then. And then I taught in for different Easttown at a secondary level.
So you have a bit of experience in this district.
Yes, I do. I have a little bit. And then as a parent in the district, my two children went through Norristown, and they both were in Paul Fly, East Norton, and here at the high school. But I was involved with the parent clubs during those years.
I like East Norton. So I want to ask you about that scholarship because I know personally, I mean, everybody's financial situation is different, but I'd like to gain some more information on the scholarships myself.
The scholarship is named after Mr. Harry Mirabli, and he was a local man who did well for himself. And he was very instrumental in helping get the PAL Center acquired from the state when they closed as an armory. So in his memory, the Greater Norristown PAL has established 3 scholarships every year. They're $1,500 a year. And they would be paid half of each semester. And it is a very simple one-page front and back application. The 2 main requirements are that you have service work at PAL and that you do some service work outside of PAL, either in the schools or in the communities or something else. You have to be basically a B student and have a teacher recommendation, a transcript, and an admission letter to Institute of Higher Learning. It could be a trade school, it could be a university or college. Submit it to us before May 1st, and we'll review it, and usually by the beginning of June we notify our recipients. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to give any scholarships out the past 2 years. We haven't had that many people showing any interest. So we'd love to have students apply. I know sometimes paying for it isn't on your mind, but I'm sure your parents would really appreciate it. So I just wanted to mention to you, too, all this information is on our website, both about family nights, family math night, and the scholarship, which is www.greaternorristownpal.org. I'm sorry. So, again, www.greaternorristownpal.org.
Do you have any other information you want to put out?
Just that we'd love everyone to show up on Friday night. Take and make sure you're there around 6:30. We'll be over by 8. It's not a late night. We get the little kids home in time to get to bed. So if you're interested, there are other events. We have in December a holiday carnival that we put on. And January we don't do anything usually because of weather. February we have our college fair. And in March we'll have our science and invention night. Again, this is a hands-on night that families can come in and have a lot of fun doing activities. So please check our website, and we're on Facebook, and we'd love to have everyone show up.
Now, you said that you have like a multitude of different events and nights going on throughout the year. Do you know which events are going to be coming up after this?
Well, the family nights were the ones I just mentioned, but we have a regular set of programs that are going on, and it varies usually by season. So like right now, I know that we do boxing there all year round. The basketball, I think, we have traveling basketball for younger players. I don't believe we have anything for the high school level, but we do have wrestling. That will be starting probably in December. And, there's a lot of different activities. We have 2 relatively new programs for young ladies. One is geared for the elementary preteen group called Cuddles and Cares. It meets on Thursday night from 5 to 6, I believe. And the other one is Tell It Like It Is, which is geared toward teenage girls. It allows them to come in and discuss any topic they'd like to do and talk about that's important to them. And that meets on Friday from 5 to 6 also. But there are a lot of different programs there, and through the year it just changes. We have a big Martin Luther King Day project that goes in all over Norristown to do service work. We just have all sorts of things that you can get involved in. at PAL for all age groups.
Now, how did you get involved with the PAL Center?
It happened about the time I retired from teaching. One of my good friends, Mrs. Sarator, whose kids were about the same age as my children, we had been active in parent clubs together, and a relative of hers was involved in getting the building open, and she knew I was retiring and asked me to get involved with the education committee.
So how long have you been involved with PAL for?
Let me think now. That must be 12 years now.
And how long ago did the PAL Center open?
Well, the PAL Center opened it was just about the time I got involved. They just had their grand opening. So it's been about 12 or 13 years now. But PAL has been in Norristown without a home prior to that since about 1976, I want to say. Mr. Willie Rochette, who was one of the policemen in Norristown, he was one of the first founders of PAL, and he's still active on our board. So, yeah. He just retired recently.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
So,
So it's been around a long time.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
So, besides that, I want to delve more into the night itself. Do you have a set of events that you're going to have in motion, or like any particular games that you're going to go into?
Well, as I mentioned, we do have the set game, which is a wonderful game for looking for attributes that are same and different in a card game fashion. Rush Hour is a nice logic game involved with moving vehicles back and forth on a grid to get and free the one red car out of here. Mastermind is a game that I have loved for years, and it's a logic game where you break a code using the little pegs that are involved in, and one person sets up the code, the other person tries to guess it and is given information about their guesses to try to use logic to figure out what the actual code is. We have all sorts of games that involve figuring out puzzles. I have a card game that I like to do with the kids where I predict the top card on a pile of cards, and it all involves math. There's a game involving dates on a calendar that we do involving very simple algebra that you can predict what dates people do. There's all these games that you can take and have someone pick a number and do certain operations to it, and you can say, I can predict your number is 2. And the reason is because they have done operations and done them to the given number, and they always come out with the same answer. So, it looks good, but it's not real hard stuff. But hopefully it will get people thinking about the math involved.
See, when I was younger, there was a game called 24.
Uh-huh.
And it was like you started off with a number, and there was a multitude of numbers you could use, and you had to use different
Right.
operations to get to 24.
Right, and that's another game that was shot into popularity there for quite a few years. And, I tend to stay away from that because it's used in the schools so much. But, like these games, I think some of them are not used and maybe are slightly different. And this is something else, too. I would invite any of the teachers in the elementary schools to come over. If they want to help out that night, I'm more than happy to share anything I have with them. I have a wonderful little sheet where if the student picks out a number between 1 and 63 and tells me which columns columns of numbers that the number is in, I can tell them what the number is. And it's a very easy little trick because what I've done is set up a binary expression that represents the number they picked. And the binary numbers are at the top of the columns, and by adding them together, I know what the number is. So you look good, but it's not real hard math things. Hopefully it starts making them think about, why is this working, and this is what I want to do. I want them to start thinking about, what's going on? How did she do that? How's this done? Ask questions and want to pursue it. So
That seems very intricate. It seems a little intricate for my taste.
I could explain to you. Don't worry about it. I was showing. I test all these on my grandchildren, so I know that they work, and the kids can figure it out. So.
Well, do you have anything else you'd like to add today?
Well, just I want to encourage everyone to in the elementary schools, the children and their families to come on Friday from 6:30 to 8, and please check our website for details on this and other programs. We'd love to have you out there.
Okay, so my name is Mario with my newly met friend, Miss Maggie Hall. Show up on Friday to math night.